We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
At this point, we have to do something major. We know the shortcomings of dealing with the major media. We didn't get the even amount of time. Of course, we never got a fair amount of time on the evening network. But there's another thing that I think we ought to do. We ought to make a grand display. We ought to have a true march to show what our numbers are. A march on Washington could do the same thing. It could be very, very valuable. It could send a powerful message where the media can't ignore us. But others have gone to Washington and people remember the grand rallies. I think we have to make a grand stand. We have to stand firm and see where the numbers are and be counted. But we can certainly energize those who have been identified already. So for me, I'm sort of getting excited about this because I have talked with others and they say this is a great idea. There's no reason in the world why we can't do as well as some others have done in Washington. But we're at the crossroads. And if we do this right, and if we really have a grand rally and a grand march, then they will know that we can't be ignored. And I am hearing this daily from other members of Congress and around the country. So they know we are a force and a growing force. So I'm throwing this out as an idea, and I hope everybody will join. So if we want to really take a stand for freedom, take a stand that nobody can ignore us, to see what would happen if we really had this grand march on Washington. And this would have to be done rather soon, it's before the convention. Hopefully we can put this all together, and hopefully I can get the enthusiasm from all of you, just as you have given enthusiastic support for this campaign already, both in the volunteer work as well as the fundraising.
They're a bunch of criminals. They've taken over our government. He who makes the money makes the rule. They're a bunch of criminals. They're a bunch of criminals. They've taken over our government. He who makes the money makes the rule. They're a bunch of criminals. They're a bunch of criminals. They've taken over our government. He who makes the money makes the rule. They're a bunch of criminals. They're a bunch of criminals. They've taken over our government. He who makes the money makes the rule. They're a bunch of criminals. They're a bunch of criminals. They've taken over our government. He who makes the money makes the rule. They're a bunch of criminals. They're a bunch of criminals.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm as mad as